What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. So last episode, we did take care of the final quests we had to do before we head down into the deep roads. We dealt with a little runaway gang of blood mages. We ended up killing the main mage and then sending the rest back to the circle. So whatever has become of them with Knight Commander Meredith and the rest of the Templars has become of them. But whatever fate did end up befalling them is deserved, in my opinion. Not only did they run from their old circle by it mysteriously burning down, which is quite clearly the mage leader that we killed is responsible for that. They also followed him into a cave and summoned an army of demon corpses. So, I mean, whatever happens to them happens to them. That's their decisions that led them to that place, not anybody else's. So that'd be on their heads, not mine. Just did the best I could with the information after the fact. Now, we are about ready. We managed to get all the way up to level 11, right on the borderline of level 12. We got 68 sovereigns, and we didn't have to take that shady deal from the dwarf in Lowtown, so we're all in a pretty good spot, really. We got the map and the coin, so Bertrand, you're about to be a very happy man, presumably.
Varric, where did you get off to? And what are you planning?
Bertrand, so suspicious. I have in fact brought us our future partner.
What? Partner? You stupid nug-humping dirt farmer. Why did you go promising something like that?
Because if we don't get this expedition moving, brother, then we won't have any profits to argue about, will we?
And you are on a time limit.
Maybe you have a point.
They are on a very big time limit because the Blight just ended, which means all the Darkspawn are going to start heading back down into the deep. So if we don't get this thing going soon, then that's going to be overrun by Darkspawn, and we won't even be able to look around in the deep roads.
So we're partners?
That depends. You got the coin we need?
Are we talking a full share here, or what?
If you have the coin, sure. You'll get a full share.
That seems like a lot for an expedition.
We're going lower into the deep roads than anyone's ever dared. Who knows what we'll find down there? Well, that means food and equipment and hirelings. None of that comes bloody cheap.
Makes sense. Here you go.
I do have your coin, in fact.
You're joking.
What did I tell you, Bertrand? Not bad for a human.
All right, partner. Full share of the profit between you, me, and Varric. Now we just need a decent entrance into the deep roads.
Oh, I got that for you, too.
These might be just what we need.
What's this? 3? 4 entrances into the deep roads, all in the free marches? Where'd you get these?
A wizard did it.
Well, color me astounded. We just pick the most promising one and go. Time to wrap up any business you have in the city, my friend. We'll be gone for several weeks at least. Let me know as soon as you're ready and we'll head out.
Oh, my business is all wrapped up. And we got Financer achievement there because we didn't have to use anybody else's nonsense. And there goes our glorious sovereigns. Down to 18 now. But the full share does sound spicy on the other end, right? I'm sure we'll make plenty.
So are you ready? It's a long trek. If you have any business you need to wrap up here, you'd better do it now.
I'm ready. Let's get started.
And let's not waste any more time. We've chosen one of the hidden entrances. The deep roads there will be nice and virginal, ready for a good deflowering. Ha!
Now there's an interesting image.
It'll take a week for us to get to the depth we need.
I think the deep roads are anything but virginal.
From the Blight. Big risks, big rewards.
We shouldn't be taking any needless risks.
This isn't a foolish endeavor. This will work. Now, before... Wait. Who invited the old woman?
That would be my mother.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Sir Dwarf, but I need to speak with my children.
Mother! I told you not to get involved with this.
I just want to know one thing. Are you planning on taking Bethany with you?
I hadn't decided yet.
Mother, I'll be fine. I want to go.
It's not fine. You can't both go. What if something will happen to you? You, I understand wanting to do this. But leave your sister here, I beg you.
It's the Templars or the Darkspawn, Mother. At least I'm allowed to fight Darkspawn.
Well, you're not going to be able to take everyone anyhow. You'll need to decide.
Well, I actually am inclined to agree with that mother there. Taking Bethany down into the deep roads. We already lost one sibling to Darkspawn. I would prefer not to make it two. I mean, we need to take Varric, Anders has experience with the Darkspawn and Deep Roads, being a Grey Warden, and everything that happened in Awakening. And that leaves really the only option between Merill and Bethany. We're not going to take Aveline, she's guard captain, she's needed elsewhere. Fenris, unfortunately for him, I'm filling his role, so we won't need that either. And Isabella's slot is already taken by Varric, which is non-negotiable, so that kind of excludes this entire left side of the board here. And when it comes to Bethany and Merill, Meryl's cool, but I really wouldn't care too much. It would kind of sting if she died to Darkspawn, but Bethany would sting way more. And our mother is going to need company while we're gone, because someone's got to take care of her and keep gambling from, you know, selling the house for a gambling debt, so I'm not going to take Bethany.
Oh, thank the Maker. Are you sure about this, big brother? I hope you're not just trying to protect me.
We can't both go into the deep roads. It's too dangerous.
Fair enough. I hope you're right.
I think that's the right call.
Personal drama over with? Now let's get underway.
Now, of course, I do have some prior knowledge of what happens if you take her down into the Deep Roads. She does actually get blight sickness,
The deep roads await.
which does not end well for her. The same thing happens with Carver, although if you did do Awakening like we did, you will run into Nathaniel Howe down here.
No, this can't be right.
And that leads you to be
The
able to make your
champion and
siblings a
his
Grey
apostate
Warden.
sister came to Kirkwall to spread subversion against the Chantry. But you claim this wasn't the case. The champion just happened to have dealings with the Canary, joined forces with a known raider, a blood mage, a rebel warden, and for what? Coin?
Maybe it's not as simple as you imagine, Seeker.
Does doing all that for coin really surprise you like that?
Do I need to remind you what your friend did? Do I need to tell you how many lives have been lost? How many more will be lost? You cannot sit there and tell me he is innocent.
I don't know if innocent is the right word exactly.
He must have known. Somehow the champion knew what was down there. That's why he wanted to join your expedition.
No. None of us knew. If we had, this would have all turned out very differently.
Is that so? Then tell me your version of what happened on this expedition.
Well, we entered the deep roads as planned, but we didn't get very far.
We picked a bad entrance.
There's been a collapse. The way forward is blocked.
What? Is there some way around?
Not that I've been able to find. The side passages are too dangerous.
Useless! What am I paying you blighters for?
I love the facial expression on Bartram before he does that. He's like twiddling his beard. He's like, oh, well, it's too dangerous. Nothing we can do. It just hits him.
Problems, brother?
Starting deep roads? Who knows how long it'll take to clear the path?
Shall we not try to find a way around instead? Seems like the logical choice.
You think I'm an idiot, Varric? The scouts say the side passages are too dangerous.
Well, that's what you brought me for, isn't it?
We need to do something. Sitting out here in the open is just as dangerous.
We'll take a look. If we come running back, screaming, you'll know staying put was the right decision.
Fine, fine. Find a way around. Just do it quickly.
Time to earn my
This is why
share.
I left the Wardens. I hate the blighted deep roads.
I hate to add to your burdens, my friends, but I fear I must. I fear my boy Sandal wandered off. He's somewhere in those passages right now. I beg you, keep an eye out for him. He just doesn't understand danger like he should.
You and your son have a penchant for getting in dangerous situations, don't you, joining down in the deep roads like this? You're quite adamant on avoiding the drama with Darkspawn in Origins. Of course, you still ended up joining the Warden, but...
One man out there alone. What are his chances?
My boy is sturdier than you think. If he has one of his enchantments with him, he'll survive. He's burned down a house twice by accident. I'm more worried about
Somehow
him
that doesn't
getting
surprise
lost.
me.
Oh, my poor boy.
When did you last see him?
Not a half hour ago, I turned my back to hand out rations, and he was gone. He gets so easily distracted. Oh, I should have been harsher with my warnings.
Of course we'll look for Sandal.
We need to search the side passages. We'll bring him back if we can.
Poor Sandal. I can't believe he's done this.
Yeah, of course we'll look for him. We'd be foolish if we didn't look for him. Of course we'll do that. Now, as I was saying, the alternatives there is you can bring Bethany or Kava down here, but they are going to get blight sickness from fighting all the Darkspawn. And then right at the end of the Deep Roads, if you did Awakening, you can have Nathaniel recruit them to the Grey Wardens to save their life, or you let them die of blight sickness. When I think of the fates that I would like for my siblings, being a Grey Warden is a death sentence. You're a 30-year or so ticking time bomb. You will die, you'll get the call in, and you'll come down back to these very same Deep Roads that would have killed them in the first place, and then that's how you die. So either way, they kind of die of blight sickness if you bring them down here. Now, if you leave them up there, you'll see what happens, but it's not clear sailing when you leave them behind either, but it is ultimately the one that I prefer. I prefer what happens to them when you leave them than what happens if you bring them. Plus, it means they'll be back in the game later, instead of just being gone forever because they're part of the Wardens, so I think it all works out narratively too.
Find Bodons, boy, if you can. I have to get these blighters digging.
I will work on that. We'll get our dog a taste of the Deep Roads too.
Swore I would never come down here again.
He's already proved himself fighting Darkspawn, so I'm not too worried about our dog. I think he can handle the shit. I'm more worried about my ass inside these Deep Roads, honestly. This section of the game is quite spicy in terms of difficulty. I've always loved the Deep Roads aesthetic in these games. Unfortunately, I feel like in Inquisition and the later games, they didn't really keep that same level of charm. That the dark, stone granite chiseled aesthetic. It's all very blue and clean in Inquisition and in Veilguard, whereas here it's like dirty. It looks like ancient ruins. I think they took a misstep with the aesthetic of the Deep Roads in later games. Let's taste the Darkspawn. Welcome to the Deep Roads, huh? Yeah, the difficulty spikes that sometimes occur down here is quite chunky, so I'll obviously be saving at multiple instances just to make sure that we don't have to restart this whole segment, because you can quite easily die in multiple fights here. My boy, you got a chest to pick.
Doing that.
Appreciate you. There's a couple.
I can still sense them.
That's right, you are still a warden. I'm glad you're at least doing your job. And given that you just made that wonderful call out for us, that seems like an excellent time to drop a save, wouldn't you say?
I'm practically there.
What's up? The emissary was the big asshole problem right there. Alright, so this is locked, I would assume. And I do remember what happens down in this little shithole, so if you are going to step down here, this is a boss fight, a very tough one that usually kills me a couple times before I get it dead, so save before you come down here is what I'm trying to say. It's going to lull you into a false sense of security. The trap is obviously you come down here for the loot. And that's the end result. You'll note that I'm not using any of my big abilities for this, and that's the reason why. This shit is beefy. Let's just... I don't even know if you can knock it back, but... I'd be interested in trying to knock it back at the very least.
I'll deal with this!
Merill. Get it back a few inches and heal. Strike's good in me, which, with a little bit of luck, would... That's not gonna pull the aggro, is it? Okay, dead. Beautiful. You can keep doing what you're doing. How about you pin and shot for me, Varric? And then Merill. Your Stonefist is not quite up yet, but we do need you to reposition. Anders, I'm gonna have you heal Varric. I'll take a sip. And it's dead. Now we should be okay. There we go. Yeah, that fight can be chunky, and it escalates very fast. Varric down here for this. And that is the whole party locked and loaded with a level up. Take care of that in a second. Beautiful. Alright, let's take a look. So, for my character, we're looking at 36, 24, and 18. So we'll go 36 and 26. Our constitution being at around 250 is a very good idea for what's coming up. And ability-wise, it's kind of interesting for where we currently are because I picked Revo first. Ordinarily, I'd be way down the Berserker tree by this point. So, we got Sacrificial Frenzy. Fervor is what we want, but that's level 13. We also need this if we're going to get that, so... Radiating an aura of psychic pain, the Reaver takes constant spirit damage while this mode is active, as do all nearby enemies. So if you just put this on, it's negative 5% health per pulse, but it does spirit damage to the enemies at 17 per pulse. And it's sustained, so you just pop this and run into wade into the enemies like balls deep, and then they'll start taking damage. This is something you should use very situationally and very carefully. The main reason we would ever even take this is to get fervor. Like, we will use this in certain encounters, but certainly not in boss fights and things like that, because we'll need the health. Devour becomes so vicious that enemies are automatically staggered, leaving them open to devastating follow-ups from a mage or a rogue. We will obviously get this eventually, but not right now. And Devour is now more effective, particularly if a rogue has lowered the enemy's defenses. So you can get both of these. So when Varric pin and shot somebody, you could do this, and that'll be 300% fizz damage against a disoriented target, which is quite nuts, actually. But for now, we'll get that. So Varric, he's almost at the cunning threshold for the next part of the game. So let's do... Let's get you right there, so I can go 2-1 next time. And then you'll be ready to rock inside the next act. Now his ability tree is going to be a little weird too, because all my companions at our current levels are actually in a weird place where they're all right on the edge of being able to do the things that I like, but they're not quite there. Rhyme and Tripler would be a good idea. Bianca's song is also really good for later. What is this tree like? I have everything I need here. Okay. Yeah, let's grab Ram and Triplet. That's a really good activated ability. Anders, we were going 2-1-1-1-1, so let's do 1-1-1 here. And where were we on your level up? I have everything written down to what I did with them last time, just so I know. There's a very specific way to build these assholes. Let's go into this tree. So we got you Greater Haste. I didn't get you Glyph of Defiance yet for the more physical force. I think it'd probably be a good idea to get Panacea at this point, because things are going to get really spicy down here. So the health regeneration rate, 100 for all party members, is quite good. We'll take that. And then Merill. What were we doing with your stats? I know you need a lot of health, so let's go 1 and 2. And for your abilities, I'm not quite sure what I did for you the last time either, to be honest. We need this eventually on Spirit Bolt, which means we do eventually need to start dropping things down here, but I think the last time we did anything, we did Crush Imprison. It's a barrier. Arcane Shield. The buff to Mind Blast. Horror. Hex of Torment. The mage curses the enemy, increasing damage from all sources for a short time. Enemy damage resistance 25% for 15 seconds. That'll be glorious. So we'll definitely get Hex of Torment up in there. Now we gotta go into the tactics, because we need to set up all the things that we just got. There's no point having it all there if they're not gonna use it, right? So I guess I'll briefly show you guys what the tactics menu is kind of like here. So we'll start with Anders. Anders got Panacea, right? I gave you Panacea, so... how would we integrate Panacea into this? If I even want you to use it by yourself, maybe it'd be better if I proc it myself. Panacea might actually be a thing that I use myself without getting him to do it, because if he uses that in the wrong moment, it's really not going to be useful for us. Yeah, you know what? I will. I'll use Panacea myself. So Merill had Hex of Torment. That's obviously going to be really, really good for any kind of major that we fight in this game. Any kind of elite that we're going to run into, Hex of Torment is going to be really good. I think it said 15 seconds, right? A negative 25% resistances for 15 seconds is very good. So let's put this tactic. We'll do this all the way up at like 4, I think, or 5, something like that. 2 or 4. And then, actually, do we want Chain Lightning above? Yeah, let's put it at 3. And then we'll go enemy. Rank. Elite or higher. And you are going to use Hex of Torment. And that should be very, very good for us. In fact, what we will do is we'll take a little extra spice dip, and we'll do what we did for Anders. We'll put a prerequisite on that, so she doesn't just cast it like willy-nilly. So, enemy. This is the cool thing about the tactics here. You can do a lot of cool stuff. Target of Hawke. I would love to scroll down here, game. Thank you. And then we'll use current condition for next tactic. So if it's a target of me, she'll pop that into the next thing. And then if the enemy target is rank elite or higher, she'll cast Hex of Torment. That will be glorious. And then Varric, you got Rhyme and Triplet, right? So I think the best thing for Varric to do with Rhyme and Triplet is usually just going to be to use it on a elite or higher, but it's kind of hard to decide that. I might honestly just straight up use that as myself too. I might take control of that myself instead of putting it inside his tactics, just so he doesn't waste the stamina, because he's doing a lot for me already in terms of his requirements as a party member. I have him spending a lot of stamina, so I don't want to overload his stamina pool, because it's not that high. I've been investing way more points inside Cunning and Dexterity than I have been doing anything else, so I don't want to overwhelm his pool. It's something that I can use when I want to for that extra damage burst. It's not something I want the AI spamming for me. And if you want to take a look at Aura of Pain, that's what it does. You see my health going down though. And the cool thing is, the way this all works, if I get too low, I can use Devour, and that'll give me some health back quick. But obviously it keeps ticking down the whole time, so I'll go ahead and turn that off. I'm not a big fan of Aura of Pain. I kind of just take a quick dip into that because I need to. Probably won't be using it much. The constant health divide might be interesting on a lower difficulty where the enemies aren't doing that for you to give you your damage bonus. But on the higher difficulties like we're playing on, you can die so quickly to things like blood magic. I do not need to be taking 17 spirit damage on top of that randomly, you know? Seems like it's asking for a death.
Nug's uncle. Isn't that Bodan's boy?
It is. Enchantment.
Hello. Talk about dumb luck.
Are you injured? How did you do this?
Well, thanks for the enchantment.
And how did you do that?
Not enchantment.
Not enchantment. Are you a mage, Sandal? You holding out on me?
Smart boy.
Impressive relay.
Come on. We still need to find a way past that collapse.
I mean, look at all this shit. Is there a deep mushroom that I didn't get right here before he jumped into that? No, there wasn't. Yeah, not only is it impressive that he clapped all these Darkspawn, because they're dead. The fact that he was able to freeze this ogre like that... Like, that's not Winter's Grasp, that's something else entirely. I do kind of wish I could break him out and kill him, but alas. Push on. Yeah, I like Sandal and Bodan. I like that duo of merchant and enchanter together. Especially the story of how he picked him up too. He found him in the deep roads abandoned, which makes Sandal's story way more interesting. We actually never get closure on his story either. They kind of stopped talking about Sandal after this game when he was clearly gonna be something. But yeah, he was found in the deep roads by Bodan. Bodan took him up, raised him as his own. Come on. Bring them a little closer just in case, because these golems on the side are making me nervous.
That was exciting.
The last time I was in the deep roads, golems didn't play nice. And the emissary just one-shot my mages. I didn't catch that in time. Like I said, it escalates really quickly if you don't watch your shit. Luckily, I think I'm beefy enough to handle the rest of this encounter by myself.
May I trust and guide you! Better luck in the next one!
I'd do much better.
Yeah, I'll move you all back before we start the spice. Yeah, it's like I keep saying, you gotta be really careful with the mages, because one spell is all it takes and it's over. You get caught out for a second and you're done. There's a couple of encounters like that down here. That's why I was saying it's a good idea to do everything you possibly can before you come down here to pass these tough-ass, like, fight checks. See you folks. I will not be getting sneaky ambushed by a Darkspawn horde this time. More raw lyrium. Lots of crafting goodies now. Yeah, they had them spawn from the corner. I suppose they came out of that little tunnel entrance right there. This would be locked up. I love Dwarven architecture. This kind of stuff, the statues and the way they build it all down here. The Deep Roads had such a unique personality back in these first two games. I do wish they managed to keep it a little better. The nostalgia I feel just existed in this game is insane. Come on, get up. Big and fast. Very good. That was cheeky too, the way they had him behind the corner like that. Thanks, Varric.
Easy as pie.
Alright, so let's walk Varric's happy ass around here.
Piece of cake. Now that's just rude.
150 a trap is very good.
Piece of cake.
Now imagine a world where I didn't see that ogre and I just ran in here and ran my whole party into those traps. That would have been nasty. Game is getting spicy on me. We got Sandal, so don't have to worry about that. We didn't have to go back to Bodan for that, did we? I don't think so. Okay. No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, Sandal has been located. He managed to head back to the expedition's camp on his own. Yeah, that's fine then. I say I didn't have to go back there for a reward, did I? Varric, you're up again.
Easy as pie.
And here is the second shit show fight. So save before you walk through these pillars. This one's hard to. Okay. You already cast him haste, that's good. You Hex of Torment. You finish shot. You stone first. Here's where the shit show begins. Something about those dragons if you can, Anders. That obviously hurts. He's almost dead though. It's really close. There we go. And we managed to stun the children too, so we're good.
I'll deal with this!
Nah, we managed to get that done without dying or taking any falling in the characters, so that's good. The health regen for Panacea is very good in certain circumstances. Alright, well, since we sacked his ass, let's take a big ol' save there. Yeah, that could be tough. if you don't pay enough attention to the little smaller dragons right there and let them get up on your ass while he's sitting here breathing fire, that could be very tough. But thankfully, we have a really effective party build currently with Anders and Merill spamming all their debuffs and stuns and all that goodies, so...
Here we go. This goes right where we want it to.
Let's go back and tell Bartrand. He'll be so pleased.
We even cleared the way for you, Bartrand.
Bartrand! We found a way around your damned cave-in.
It's about time. Let's move out!
Holy shit.
Is this what you were expecting?
I thought. An abandoned Thaig, something old, but... what is this?
That is our introduction to Red Lyrium.
Here?
Old scavenger tales. After the third blight. A week below the surface, they said. But nobody believed them.
Looks like they were right.
Make camp here! We need to look around.
We're definitely going to want to look around this place. There's got to be all kinds of goodies down here. And since we got a nice little break in the action, I think that is the perfect point to split the episode and give the Primeval Thaig its own go, like I did the first part of the Deep Road. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, appreciate what I do here, please do check out my Patreon in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon with more Dragon Age 2. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Peace.